Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to a meditation buddy of mine, a scaly meditation buddy. Her name is Florence, and I call her Florence after Florence Nightingale because she's so healing to be around. She's very sensitive to people's energies and extremely sociable. So she likes to go out, she likes to meet people, and that cannot be said for all of my snakes. Some of them are very intense and they're okay if I hold them, but maybe not if other people do. They can pick up on people's energies, and if you have anxiety, they can tense up. But she, on the other hand, is very accommodating to everybody she meets and their emotional state, and is just so caring. And you can tell her personality if you look into her eyes. I don't know whether you can see her eyes, but she has a sweetness to her. She is just a joy. I've had her for her entire life since she was a baby, and she's just very, very calm and puppy dog tame. She is a jungle boa, a very rare Sterling jungle boa. So if she were to find a partner who was an IMG boa, the babies that they would have gold eyes and could be just really, really intense. IMG stands for increasing melanistic genes. So they're born one color, but as they age, they go black, 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 iridescent. So they're very, very stunning, intense snakes. I'm not sure whether she will rip off my mic if I put her around my neck, but we could see maybe in a minute. What's amazing about Florence is she has all of these different colors. Like she has like peachy colors and creamy colors and orangey colors and a stripe. And oh, she's around my bracelet. She's arboreal, so I am her tree right now. You are just so beautiful, Florence, and thank you for existing. It's a joy to have you around. She's the first thing I see in the morning, and she's the last thing I see at night because her tank is right next to my bed, and she peeps her head out and wants to know what I'm doing at all times. So she's just part of my life. And she's pretty easy to meditate with. She will just hang out on you and not move, but she's quite curious right now. Aren't you? Look how beautiful you are. And she has a black tongue. And she uses that tongue to smell out. Do you want to check the camera out? To smell out. Oh, maybe the focus will. Her environment. If you look into the eyes of snakes, they are able to drop you into a meditative state. If you're sensitive to that, I certainly am. She's a way better meditator than I am. So let's give it a go and see if she wants to go around my neck. Oh, so delightful to have snakes around your neck. Oh, and she's off behind the chair. Okay. Oh, maybe she'll go. So snakes are just a joy to have in the house. They're kind of like cats in that they charge the space with like this energy that if you're sensitive to it, you notice when they're around and you miss them when they're not around. Having being very sensitive to the energy of snakes, I always keep them in my bedroom because they help me sleep at night. I know most people maybe wouldn't relate to that, but once you get over your fear of them, it's just a joy to have them around. And she's just doing her thing on the chair right now. And snakes and spirituality have been entwined for the entire existence. And my first transcendental experience was with a snake, so they hold a very special place in my heart. And they were my first meditation teachers. When I was a child, I looked into the eyes of a snake and was able to transcend through looking into the eyes of the snake. Everybody is different. Some people use mantras, some people do mindfulness meditation, other people do breath work. For me, on my journey, it was for the first experience of transcendence was with snakes. So it's always been that way. I'm very sensitive to them. So let's see where she's going. Maybe she can come back. Don't want her to break the mic. Oh, do you want to go outside? Ooh, 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 ooh. So if you've never held a snake or been around a snake, I highly recommend it as something to experience on your spiritual journey. Snakes are in every temple, they're revered, they house a lot of non physical energy. I call them spaceships because they're able to, to house a lot of non physical, just like fire. So if we light a candle, fire is able to house a lot of non physical. So if you go into churches, that's why they suggest lighting a candle because they sense that that's the case. So if you want to connect to somebody who's passed away, you light a candle for them because they can use that element to enter into the relative world. A snake's physiology is the same. It's like a permanent fire. It's very attractive to non-physical energy. It's believed in the Vedic culture, in the Vedic literature. It says a lot about snakes housing non-physical intelligences, which is interesting if you deep dive into it. So maybe there's a lot of different things inside of you. You're a collective, aren't you? Well, we're all a collective, but especially snakes. They're very attractive. Their physiology is designed so it's very easy for them to be in a higher state of consciousness. They're so sensitive to all sight, sound. I know they don't hear, but they are sensitive to vibration. So when I say sound, I mean vibration, smell, other senses that humans don't have, they possess. They can go into the future. They know what's happening on the earth. They can predict earthquakes and fires. I've mentioned that before. So they're one step ahead of human monkeys. Well, more than one step ahead. Let's just be honest. a million steps ahead. I know the human species likes to believe that it is the most evolved, but if you keep snakes, you realize you're not. And that's why snakes are always depicted on gods or goddesses, never on the ground, but on their head, sharing the aura or above them, because their consciousness is high, very, very high level of consciousness. So maybe some of it rubs off on the human monkeys if we're around them. So we're very lucky to live on a planet and also have these spectacular beings that demand respect. You also have to be careful of their boundaries and be sensitive to their likes and dislikes and their preferences. And each snake is different, and you learn their own boundaries and likes and dislikes, otherwise, you'll get nipped. It's not the end of the world, but it's not the nicest thing. And it's stressful for the snake as well as the human, so we try to avoid that. Have I been bitten by Florence? She didn't do it on purpose, it was my own fault. I stuck my hand in the tank all of a sudden, and she thought it was a mouse because it moved a certain way, and she's just very in sync with her dharma, which is to drop rodents' bodies and let the rodent enter another dimension. That's a nice way of saying she eats rats or mice. And so when I put my hand in, ooh, she nipped it, but it was no big deal. And she's never done that ever before or ever. She won't do it again because I will be careful. And when she did that, I apologized to her. I said, I'm so, so sorry that I didn't warn you ahead of time that I was coming into your sacred space. And in future, I will let you know through sound and communication that I'm about to enter so you won't have that feeding response. And so it was not her fault. It's always the owner's fault if they get bitten. It's never the snake's fault. Snakes are not aggressive. They can be defensive, or they can just think that you're food. But you figure it out. And she's not poisonous. So there's no worries there. Isn't she gorgeous? Wow, you're better than any bracelets. And she will live to be 30, 40 years, and she will grow to be 6 or 7 foot long. But she's only 2.5 now. Look at her. Look at you, Florence. Gorgeous. The most gorgeous lady I've ever seen. Most healing, gorgeous, spectacular lady. She's a delight. And so I'll be doing more videos with Florence.